Hello, good day, good evening. Welcome to Firefly Moon Tarot. This is going to be the reading for our Gemini Moon in the actual Gemini Moon. Now, this is going to be our reading for Gemini in the Cold Moon time of the year, which is an actual Gemini full moon this year as it passes through the constellation. I want to start off by thanking everyone for joining, my spirits, your spirits, our spirits, the collective in general. I hope that we have a good exchange of positive energy. Also, a little bit about the Gemini full moon. It is a very disrupted time as far as emotion. Full moons in general always bring emotions boiling up, things that have felt confined and restricted, or that you didn't even notice felt confined and restrictive, all of a sudden begin to feel that way, and you fluctuate your emotions. This is extremely potent during the Gemini season, since the Geminis actually are the twins, so a fluctuation of emotions and interests and ideas and thoughts and tend to be just part of the general characteristics of a Gemini season individual. So this, I would recommend it, is a time, it is a time of multitasking. There is a healthy multitasking skill during the Gemini time. However, I would avoid distractions. Being spread too many places can avoid distractions. And since full moons are in Cancer, and Cancer is the fourth house, which brings back family and foundation, rooting yourself in those family and foundations during this multitasking time will help you get through some of the more difficult tasks you feel lay before you. As well, Gemini is the ruler of Mercury, and Mercury is the god of messenger of senses. So communication is an extremely important vehicle right now, a medium, regardless of the medium in which you communicate, verbal body language, or verbal language, physical body language, writing, video, I guess nowadays, like media, social media and things like that. Be wary. It is a time to communicate, but if you aren't, again, if you're being ruled by these emotions, this kind of need to start arguments that don't need to be started, this need to be upset at something that doesn't, really concern you or shouldn't concern you, feel like in putting your opinions, thoughts, ideas, or personality in between other people's, this need to have the last word. If you are feeling any of those low vibrational energies, communication should be avoided, and you should really work on meditative practices during this time. Just like meditation, I don't mean like sit down 10-20 minutes. I mean breathe in, breathe out. Feel the breath coming through the tip of your nose or off the tongue of your off the tip of your tongue, and then exhaling it out. Just taking a couple seconds to fully reconnect again to your foundations. This is all about seeking balance, because the Geminis can pull you in different directions. Also, be wary of creating false realities based on your feelings or your hopes. This is where that balance comes in, to like root yourself in some actual facts when you're forming opinions on something, or especially if you have a presentation that you want to discuss, or a paper you want to write, or something you want to pitch, or a conversation you need to have it rooted in reality, in its essence. You can always illuminate, I guess, as far as, literary devices can go, to describing certain things. But it needs to be rooted, again, the foundation of Cancer. Let's see, this is also, it brings around, because Mercury is the messenger god of senses. your actual senses will be a little bit heightened at this time, obviously the emotional ones, the intellectual ones, but the sounds and tastes can be more extreme at this time. So you may have this need to like play that favorite song or that favorite playlist that you haven't played in like 8 years, you know, it was back your favorite playlist at the beginning of 2010 or something, or it's your favorite summer playlist, or you know, favorite Christmas playlist, like something. These things will bring you joy. So I recommend reconnecting with those senses, listening to the snow crunch under your feet, or if you're the rain outside, or the wind blowing through trees, or water trickling down a stream. Like, just the senses are going to be heightened. So that's a little bit about the Gemini moon. It is called the Storytellers moon. So the cold moon is during this time of year. And then the Storyteller's moon is actually the Gemini full moon. And just to also share a little bit of what I think the energy surrounding all the readings regarding this moon. I was out on my balcony and I was shuffling a deck of cards, and at that time, at the deck, I knew as soon as I said, I'm like, oh my gosh, one of the cards is going to fall out of my hand. Before I finished the thought, a card flew out of my hand, landed at the neighbors down below. Now, I had to go down to my neighbors and to get that card, and I had to use an example card, which was from this mythical goddess deck. A sample card to show them, hey, can you please check out on your balconies on the left-hand side? Thank you. So eventually I got the card back, and the card that I got back was actually the 10 in this deck. It's the 10 of wind, and it's labeled Illusions, and that is actually the Moon in Gemini card. And the card that I just randomly picked to use an example card from that same deck was the 7 of Fire. In this card, it's labeled Courage, which is Mars in Leo. So in general, the energy around this Gemini or Moon in Gemini is to get through all these conflicting obstacles, then emotional turmoil and intellectual kind of damage that some of it may cause, or internal mind damage, is to use the 7 of Wands energy, so Mars and Leo energy. So especially since, you know, the 7 of Wands can deal with feeling obstructed on all sides, like, you know, this multitasking energy during the Gemini moon. You feel like you're stretched too many places. And the 7 of Wands is, you know, all about understanding that this is happening, but formulating a clear boundaries, a clear energy, like setting up those healthy boundaries so you know what you can do, what you can't do. And it's all about healing. It's a healing energy to help people. You do want to help people, but you have to set those boundaries in place so you can, you know, partake in those battles, so you can overcome these obstacles. So just a general energy of the entire reading for this time period, the Gemini full moon, the Storyteller moon, is going to be that Mars in Leo energy. Now, I'm going to succinctly talk about the channeled messages, because it was such a disturbing message. The literary magnitude in which it came through, because it came through in a dream, and it was 2 individuals, twins. Now, the twins didn't look alike, but they had been brought up to be a certain tool for people to act a certain way. And these twins would persecute other people, like literally, they would persecute gay people, like physically mutilate them, even though they themselves were gay. In the dreams, and they wanted to, they both had to fulfill their duties, but they both wanted to be friends with all these people that they were hurting. So I'm the general message that I'm getting, that I got, you know, about this is, again, stretching your energies too many directions, trying to make too many people happy, or your interests are spreading too wide, that it's just becoming damaging to who you are. It's literally hurting you and hurting those around you. And there's pain going on. There's a sense of over anxiety during this period, like real anxiety, where you're worried about the image that you're putting out there, and you're worried about what, and it's more it's worrying you more, because not only are you worried about the image you're putting out there, because you're worried what people will think of you by putting that image out there, and that's like compiling all the stresses. And I feel like it's actually causing, physical damage to you, and like mental damage, like, and I don't mean like, I mean, maybe you end up with bruises on your body. You don't know where they came from because you keep hitting, or taking a corner too quick and you keep hitting it. Or you start breaking out more because your body's not processing the toxins the way it should be. You're getting kidney cramps, or you're getting headaches. There's just something that's happening. And the main message that I got, like, that came once the reflection over this dream, was this too shall pass. The understanding that this too shall pass. So just try and keep yourself, those strong barriers, keep yourself safe. So that's the channel messages. Now, in the past, like when I first started this, I would shuffle these and lay them out as they fell out. But because it's so loud shuffling on this table, I've pre-shuffled your cards and I've meditated on your cards. I've asked all the guides, guardians, and spirits to provide you with the best advice going forward for you in this moon time. So I've already cut the deck and I've already meditated on the cards. I've saged the area. So I'm just going to get to it. And I will not be reading reversals in this deck. I picked the Good Tarot deck because it we needed some good. It was such a the channel message in the dream was just such a aggressive message that I want something good. So there are no reversals in this deck, and it's literally called the Good Tarot. We need some light energy. We need some different energy up in here. I will get that card and that card. This one was first. Okay, so we have, starting off in the north, the Six of Water. East is Fortune's Wheel, number 10. And then in the south, we have the Five of Water. And in the west, we have 20, Call. So that's interesting. We already have 10 and 20. So one is the halfway mark. 20 is the end station, the end mark. Oh, goodness. Everything wanted to come out at once here. Taking this one first. North, we have the Page of Water. Again, this is our Geminis for the full moon in Gemini. Then we have the Star, beautiful energy, beautiful. Let's try now. These are much bigger cards than the normal ones that fit in this space. I'm not sure what I'm going to have to do to get this all in here. All right, last card for the middle. Star is number 17, that's number 8. Got a 5 and a 6, so even like some kind of, 6-5. Got a pattern going here. Water, water, water. We have a lot of water so far. We only have water as far as like the minor arcanas are concerned. This lovely Aquarius energy here. Okay, Spirit, I need to center back down. Spirit, please guide our lovely Geminis for their highest good. What do they need to know? What do they need to know? I'm just going to put that. Oh, I think I saw that on the bottom of the deck earlier. Also, I should mention, even before this started, in the qualifying cards, clarifying cards, I use a deck, and I was drawn to Lozen. I was like, okay, it kind of like showed itself, and I had to reread it. And Lozen is actually also the Seven of Wands. So, and then I believe I saw this King of Fire at the bottom of the deck when I was shuffling, or before we started, you know, the shuffle. North, we have the Eight of Fire. Oh, this is such a beautiful card. Such a beautiful card. Pandas. I don't know if pandas are as nice as I want to make it out to be, but gorgeous. All right, spirits, for our beautiful Geminis, what do they need to know for their highest good? What do they need to know? Oh, we're finally getting some alternate energy here. Okay, what do they need to know, Spirit? Oh goodness, we can't see that on the camera. What do they need to know? We have to change. Alright, wow, we're definitely getting some alternate energy here. Oh goodness, oh goodness. Last card, Spirit, last card. Okay, so far, okay. We got the Eight of Fire, the Nine of Air, and the Two of Fire. Just want to make sure that's the right card. Yep, it is. All right. Let's see what we have is a Ten of Fire. Okay, also ending of cycle. So an ending of a cycle, an ending of a cycle, an ending of a cycle. So first off theme, there's an ending of a cycle. Under the deck, apologies, and it's something that you have been asking for. The Magician. Something that you have been asking for, the ending of a cycle, which is also why the anxiety might be so high as I was getting in, my channeled messages. It was just the anxiety obviously was driving a person to not know who they were or who they wanted to be. Okay, so over here, the Six of Water and the Five of Water. Ugh. I just have to say the first thing I thought of at this time when I saw this one was, woe is me. Oh, woe is me. Life, what be? I mean, she's got this like string of pearls coming out and this seahorse behind her, and this seahorse wants to be her friend. Like this big shell is basically just like a giant heart, you know, like right there as a belt buckle, just a giant heart belt buckle, and this little seahorse. She's got wings on her wrists. I mean, these, almost all of them are doing like, and it's very interesting. So the way this is set up is this Six of Water is looking down at this call, and this call is looking up at this Six of Water. So, you know, and the reflection in the water. Okay. So here you see her hands folded across her stomach. Obviously, kind of like she has cramps. But if you see her reflection, it's actually praying. I feel like what's looking up at her is her spirit guide. Is this, and or whatever you believe in, whether it is God, divinity, the universe, your spirit guide, your spiritual leader, what's looking up is somebody there who wants to protect you and help you through this Six of Water. Whatever this sadness is coming from, this woe is me, this it seems like I have a fine life, but what's like something's, I'm not happy. I'm not happy about it. Like, you know, I remember, so the feeling I'm getting out of this is knowing that, especially when it has to do something with the past. There was a time in my life, like an event in my life, and I went through, I had this opportunity to live through this experience, and it was an amazing experience. And, just all the things that you live life for played and performed itself in this beautiful experience that was like 5 months long. And as when it's over, when something is done, you look back and sometimes you have that longing, that nostalgia to go back there and relive that, hoping that you can just get a piece of what that felt like again. And the thing is, what I know and what I always understood is you can't go back there and expect that to happen, because it's never going to be the same. And especially if you try to make it the same. Again, this goes back to what I was talking about in Gemini, like, building these stories out of realities, not just the way you feel or the way your hopes. You have to accept that it's not going to be the same. And I think there's this issue of not, like, being where you're at now and looking back at a time when you were happier and wishing you could almost go back to that moment. I don't know specifically. This could be for anything, whether it was someone you were in love with, whether it was a friend, whether it was a place you lived, whether it was being, like, if you're in retirement, you wish you could go back to work, or you think you wish you could go back to work, or if you're at work and you think you could go back to school, or if you're, older and you're like, God, I just, wish I could be young again with no responsibilities, or with less responsibilities. And it's just that connection to that past. And you've had great success as far as you've come. So there's really almost no reason to be feeling this kind of nostalgic. It should be fleeting, and it's probably just this Gemini energy that really just has you like kind of like thinking about things that you don't really need to worry about anymore. Because, like I said, your life has brought you good fortune. You've had great outcomes. Like, where you are right now is not a place to be upset about or sad about, or longing for something else. I mean, we always push and strive to be better, or experience more, or learn something new every day, as the proverb goes. But you've had really good fortune so far. It shines on you. I mean, you don't have a reason to be this. And I mean, 20 call, this is just answering the call, this universal call to fulfill your hopes and dreams. And maybe you feel like you haven't accomplished that yet. We'll see about that as we get further. And obviously clarifications will be more targeted towards your sun sign. So this may not all apply directly to your situation. But you'll see more when we clarify with your sun sign. Okay, so here in the middle, we have our Page of Water, our Nine of Water, our Star, and our King of Fire. This could, for a few, obviously, because I have the Page of Water, the Nine of Water, the Star, and the King of Fire, like, you might be bringing in a passionate new lover, a passionate new love. This might be an actual individual, not gender specific, but like an offer of, Page of Water, an offer of love, an offer of an opportunity. It might not be a physical opportunity. It may be, just something that would bring you joy. There are the two lotuses at the bottom, which is associated, with the Two of Cups, which is a love offering. But, what is it? This mist, this, waves crashing against the ocean. Back to the senses, the way that makes you feel. This could be something that makes you feel like romance, like that, or brings you back to a place. Maybe you're going on a vacation that you've this, a place you've always wanted to visit, and that is your eat, pray, love, moment. Then you have the Nine of Water, which is also happiness and joy and content. It's having, wishes fulfilled. Again, the energy at the bottom is your Magician. So it's a cycle that you've been, calling for. Really, it looks like you've had such a good life. You're nostalgic about something, though, but you've been calling in a new stage, a new step, a new path, and the next big thing, the next, I guess, goal to accomplish, or the next challenge to meet. You've been calling that in because you want more. You want this Nine of Water. You want more than what you've got. What you've got is the Wheel of Fortune, or Fortune's Wheel, which is good. It's not bad. But of course, if you want your, maybe you need a king to sit on the throne with you, on your throne. You may want to be famous, or more famous. You're like, I'm making money, I'm happy, yes, I'm where I am, but, I'm not making enough money. I can be a bigger star. And I would caution against this kind of, especially like if you're asking wish fulfillment in the star, just saying, I want to be more famous. Be, again, in the Gemini moon, be more direct with your manifestations. Like, write a list down, like a specific, more targeted list, and understand what on that list, it'll help you weed out what you actually want. What are just, the capitalization or capitalism and the commercialization of the things that you think you want. Like, deep down, this healing, because this is a healing card too. This is a time, if you want to just be a star, maybe it's not about having more people pay attention to you. Maybe it's about you paying more attention to yourself. You healing yourself and understanding, maybe you already have this Nine of Water. You don't need to go, asking the universe for more. Like I said, like sending messages out, the Magician. Know what it is you want to call into your life. Don't just call into your life more money or, more fame. Or I want the hottest person ever in my life to love me. Know what it is you want. Okay, so, and then down here, starting off in the north, the Eight of Fire. Look at this beautiful panda. Oh, love that. Love that. Beautiful. In the east, the Nine of Air. She's really letting go of all that. Huh. Freeing herself from all those intellectual burdens or those mind burdens. And also, I love this card, the Two of Fire in the south. And ending off that cycle, literally in the west, is the Ten of Fire. Look, okay, so yeah, see her burning those? These are all things that she wanted. She wrote down a list. She burned either the ones she didn't want. She realized the one she didn't want is what I'm getting from this. Like, I don't read it the same every time. But these are all the things you thought you wanted, and you can just burn them up because they're not what you really want. Now, you could be receiving, this could be, I'm getting messages in this right now more than I am speed. Also, I don't know if you're sending out more messages or somebody's coming in. This is like the way that the lanterns are. I don't know whether they're going up or coming down. I love it. But this giraffe, this calm, cool, like ready for the next stage. Like I said earlier, ready for the next stage, and you're freeing yourself. It's time to free yourself. This is the how. Okay, so now I'm getting, this is how, like I said, if you haven't checked out my video on how to utilize the energy of my channel, I recommend, I'll pin it right here. I recommend watching it, because basically how I do this, I have my 3 piles, and then once I lay everything out and the messages start coming to me, that's when I identify the different messages of what they want you to know. Like, it's the overall message, but this is the how. This is the how you are achieving whatever, or how. Then there's always a what. There's going to be always a what, there's always a how, and then there's a pile of kind of the extra energy that's coming out. So this is, I believe, just where you are. This is what you want, and this is how you can work to get what you want. So, I mean, because I don't always, sometimes there's an obstacle, sometimes there's love, whatever. But this is just telling me kind of, this is where you are. You're in this woe is me state. You're in this, oh, if I could only go back to that time and do that thing, or I would do it differently, or if I had a chance again at this, you know, like we all say, like, if I could go back in time, I would have bought like the Bitcoin that I wanted to buy in 2013 with the extra $500 I had left over from my bonus, but I didn't. So this kind of a, you know, example is that. And this is telling you that you have had good fortune up to this time, so there's really no reason to really be that way. And this, you know, again, this call, like the way it's looking up at this, and like literally this giant trumpet that she's shooting out. So it's the next day, the cycle, the 10 to the 20. And this I'm seeing as what you want. You want more fulfillment emotionally. You want more fulfillment money-wise. You want more fulfillment from, you know, your surroundings. You could want to be a star. You could want, you know, the star in your life, you know. 7 + 1 is 8, which is the strength card. So you may also want more strength to do the things that you want to do. You wish you had that confidence that other people do. Like, people may know who you are perhaps, but they don't understand that you're not confident about who you are. Or people around you could always praise you for, oh my God, you're so strong. I can't believe you do that. But then there's other people that you always tell them, man, I wish I could do that, like, the way you do, you know. You could either want to be this king of fire, embody that energy, or you could want someone in your life that is a king of fire. You know, really, it's like risk. There's a time where you may want to be able to wish you were riskier, whether it was with love, like you may want to tell that person that how you feel, you know. You just, this is, yeah, the what is what you want. So I'm seeing this is what you want, how to get over it. Literally, it is, I mean, this 9 and 10, it seems very similar to me. Like, this is one step, even though they're different suits, you know, the 9 of air is kind of feeling overwhelmed and burdened, and just like your mom, like the way that I just kind of blanked right now on my thoughts is the way that this is like your thoughts and your ideas either won't clarify things to you, cause things to be more muddled, whereas this 9 of air is releasing all that energy that normally comes with the 9 of air. I mean, she's controlling all these thoughts and all these ideas, so they're not burdening her. Like, she's got a great idea, or he's, you know, this figure as an angel has a great idea about something, wants to share it with the world, things that can make them, you know, money, things that can make them happier, things that can make them healthier, and she's finally controlling it. I mean, they spurted wings themselves, and the way that I feel like this person did it is like, these were all these thoughts, and this was like the burning, the manifestation of these thoughts, you know, the letting the ones go that don't serve you, and, you know, manifesting the ones that do, like taking it and creating magic with it. It's because they are like, they're even like facing each other, you know, like the way this is set up. Let's see. Yeah, it would be like this to you. They're facing each other. They're looking at each other. They're in symbiosis. They want to be partners. Like when I said, oh, when the channeled messages were these two twins, they didn't look alike, but you know, they were living these kind of like dual realities. Like this one's fire, and so it's very passionate, but they're both like wind and fire, can just pick up and go anywhere, you know. It's a quick moving velocity, and they're symbiotic, even though they're different elements, and even they're different numbers, so they're different stages in that element. You're going from one to the next. I feel that this is the how. You just have to take power over your ideas and your thoughts and structure yourself and be willing to take a little bit of a risk. Like this communication one, either you are going to be communicating these things out to people, or communication is going to come to you. And again, earlier when I said it's not specific as to how you communicate, like regardless of the medium in which you communicate, you know, you have everything that you pretty much need to go on this, like to start slow, you know, it's a slow move. You're ready to go. She's got her knee up, she's thinking about it, and just waiting, you know, for the right time, the right moment. And that moment is now, you know. It says you're ready for this path. I'm going to get an overall oracle deck card for you. And then I will ask the cards. Actually, I'll do that first. Let me see if there's any additional messages before I go into the oracle deck too far. Sometimes I feel like there was something that I need to say. Think there's any. Oh, this might be real literal. If somebody calls you, you don't recognize the number, and you normally wouldn't pick it up. I'm hearing. This is really specific. I wish I could target it down to an individual more as to who should pick up this call, but it's saying pick up the call. And not just if you don't if you do recognize a number and it's someone you haven't heard from in a long time, that nostalgic thing, you may want to call them back instead of pick up the call. If they leave a voice message, then you know it was worth, you know, it's worth talking to them. If they don't leave a voice message, then don't engage with their behavior, or don't engage with this attempted communication. Know their intention. Like if they leave a message or they text you afterwards, you'll have a better idea of their intentions. Yeah, don't entertain. That's the word I was looking for. Don't entertain it. You know, if it's someone you know, if it's a number you don't recognize, I'm hearing for those people, for those of you with that experience, that it might be worth picking up. Of course, that might happen more often than not these days with all the telemarketers. I mean, I would like to say if it's verified, but who knows in this day and age. Okay, I'm gonna an oracle message regarding this path, this what they want, the how. And this is, I mean, obviously this is all about manifestation. So this is really focusing on this what. So can you give them any advice on how to distinguish what it is they want? That's what I want to, okay. We're going to focus on how do we distinguish what you really want? How can we distinguish? How can we distinguish what it is you really want? What it is you really want. This is for our Geminis. My Geminis, please, Spirit, guide them for their highest good. Can you give them advice on how to discern what it is they really want? Okay. I'm going to put these down. Now, I normally wouldn't keep this one out, but I am only keeping it out because, hello, focus. Okay, it says answer the call. And since I did just say, like in a literal term, if somebody calls and I said, and you don't know who it is, answer the call, I'm keeping that out. I'm putting it together with this. Because this could represent the ending, like this is, because this is also 20, which is the end of a cycle. The world, like kind of, you know, closing things out. This could help you close that situation out. This could help you close a situation out. So that I am keeping with that as a secondary message for someone specific that I'm literally talking about that phone call for. For everyone else, Lemuria. So this has to do with obviously star seeds and people who are connected to their star seed. Now this is actually maybe closer to the Six of Water, this image right here in the water that is praying for them. And those people around you, you need to connect. I mean, if some of you are intuitive and you believe in spiritual guidance, come on, focus. There. Connect to that energy. As you're writing your lists or making mental notes, connect to that gut reaction about them. Maybe it's, I mean, obviously this is a very nature-based card. This is a sunset, sunrise-based card. You might want to get up early enough to enjoy a sunrise during this time. Or you might want to go someplace in the mountains where you can see a nice sunset. Creating heaven on earth. It's happening. Like I said, this goes with this. You have what seems to be a lot of you are in a very good place right now. Or you don't realize how good you have it. Now, obviously, there are certain people around the world at this time who don't even have electricity for winter. So it is not heaven on earth. But for each circumstance that we think about what is possible in our life, if you're in a war-torn area and you have food in a house, you know, a roof over your head and clean water, that can be considered fortune's wheel. You don't have to have just money. If you're leading a resistance, let's say in Argentina or something, you're part of a resistance and you've had to struggle, but people admire you. Obviously, they see you as a star. So, I mean, there's good fortune. You're able to create the best out of what you have. Now, Geminis in general are pretty, you know, talkative and likable. Like people just intuitively kind of enjoy their company, and so you just have this gift for creating, you know, heaven on earth. Like when it says create heaven on earth, that's the created. The focus is on what is heaven for you. Again, I mean, the star is in what we would consider the heavens. You know, it's in the sky. What is it that is actually would define heaven for you. I mean, if it is literally just having a family, or if it is having lots of money, or if it is having, you know, a unique house, or is it having that job where everybody praises you, or, you know, is it finding your perfect retirement location? You know, is it having $30,000 in your bank account? Is that heaven on earth to you? Is it being able to eat chocolate pie every night? I don't know. But what this is telling you is you have to do your best to try and define for yourself what heaven means so you can create it. Because right now it is really possible with this magician here manifesting, with this star, the wish granted. I mean, you can, good fortune, call. I mean, there are things here that's telling you it's possible to create that heaven on earth. Just don't go creating some, like I said earlier, some capitalistic kind of form of heaven on earth. I mean, unless consumption is really what you want. But don't be afraid to accept that maybe what you want is something more actually emotionally fulfilling, not materially fulfilling. Something more intellectually stimulating, you know, not intellectually binding. So, my lovely Geminis, I hope this helped. I hope this resonated. And again, take the messages that resonated with you, leave the other ones behind, because collective can be large. So this can, like, some messages are specifically for some more than others. Speaking of which, the next stage will be me clarifying this. So we have the magician here, and we're gonna, you know, focus on this. You know, what does heaven mean and how to create it? Because this is what you want. This is obviously how you're going to create it, but this is what you want. So we're going to clarify, you know, what that is. What is heaven for you, as I go into the next stage of the reading. You can stay with me while I divvy out the cards, or you can fast forward to your section. If you have enjoyed so far, please like, share, or subscribe to my channel. Or let me know if anything resonated with you. I really enjoy. I'm going to leave these two out, the call and the call, because it's just too serendipitous together. I thank you again for all the exchange of energy, and I will see you at your individual reading. Okay, for those of you who are going to watch me divvy out all these cards, this is the sun sign section of the reading, where I will be clarifying this call card and this heaven card for all the signs. So this is Gemini full moon with an Aries sun. So Gemini moon, Aries sun. Next is Taurus. Then we go into Gemini moon with a Gemini sun. Oh, that was upside down. That was reverse. I mean, not upside down. Oops, I don't want to shuffle. I've already done that. Don't want to make too much noise. Okay. Please, spirits, guide our Gemini moon, Gemini sun. All right. Please, spirits, guide our Gemini moon, our Cancer sun. What is for their best, for their highest good? And we have now our Gemini moon, our Leo sun. What? Oh, that is our Virgo. Next we have Libra. I'm going to do it like this. Libra. Moving on to, should it be Scorpio? No. Where am I? Virgo, Leo, Gemini, Sagittarius. It's not Libra. Virgo is Earth, Sun. Why am I having a brain fart? Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer. Oh yeah. Scorpio. I was right. I don't know what I was getting all. Oh, that's why card didn't want to come out until then. Man, Three of Wands has been super popular. I mean, it's not unusual to have the same cards kind of pop out with it. It's the same moon. Just, I mean, yeah. But Scorpio, Sagittarius, please. Gemini Moon, Sagittarius Sun. Gemini Moon, Sagittarius Sun. Wonder how many of those out there are. Sagittarius. That was Gemini Moon, Capricorn Sun. Gemini Moon, Capricorn Sun. Gemini Moon, Capricorn Sun. Please, spirits, for their highest good. What do we need to know? What do our Gemini Moon and Capricorn Suns need to know? What do they need to hear? Yep, that's it. All right. Gemini Moon, Aquarius Sun. Gemini Moon and Aquarius Sun. Some double air. Please, spirits, guide, guardian, what do they need to know for their highest good? What do they need to know? Beautiful. And lastly, our Pisces. Gemini Moon, Pisces Sun. Oh, the candle went out. Gemini Moon, or one of the candles went out. Gemini Moon, Pisces Sun. What do we need to know? What do they need to know? What does our Gemini Moon, Pisces Sun need to hear about their heaven on earth? Oh, we only got a couple double cards. This is nice. Okay. Can't see that candle. I'm gonna... All right, thank you for returning, Aries. This is your section of the reading. So this is a Gemini Moon with an Aries Sun. We're talking about your version of heaven. Eleanor Roosevelt is your card. This is the Keeper of Cups. So definitely emotional stability, strength and fortitude. Adherence to one's principles and morals is definitely something that is going to be more important to you. I mean, Eleanor Roosevelt in and of herself is a just monumental of a figure as far as female icons go. I mean, her work when establishing the UN Charter and her speech that she just went and spoke in full French. She was obviously a women's suffragist. She was the first lady, so she was a FLOTUS, one of the most influential FLOTUSes that there was during a time of great innovation for not. I mean, the U.S. was going through a great era of expansion and especially on the world stage. This is Bretton Woods, like post Bretton Woods and. So she was, or not post-Bretton Woods, but, establishment of all that. I mean, the UN Charter. It's just, your heaven is really being able to embody that Keeper of Cups. It is standing, at the top of things. Possibly, like, that star, you could want to be a social issues influencer. You're not just an influencer on social media. Like, you really, like, NGOs are your things, or women's rights are your things, or LGBTQA rights. Like, you really want to advance a social issue and seek an equality for all humankind. Like you may really embody that, like I said, like control over the emotional, like finding the moralistic value in things. So like to create your heaven on earth, or to embody your heaven on earth, you need to embody that kind of willfulness. You know, I mean, I always recommend looking up, like just seeing a story, like maybe the first thing that pops up, maybe there's a poem or there's a short story, and that is applicable to you the most. But again, I mean, it's got this Ace of Cups here that the sun is shining down on. So it still does have to do with emotional love, you know? Like, she did not find, you know, happiness in her family, in her marriage or anything like that. So marriage may not be your thing. Your idea of heaven may actually not be getting married, you know? And if you already are married, you know, it is identifying something outside of your marriage in which you identify with. You can't be defined simply by the label of being a wife or a husband, you know, for you. Obviously, some people can, they're completely happy with it, but I don't see that applies to some of you here, because yeah, so I mean, it's a beautiful card. It's a very strong card. I mean, I see you may already have your heaven. You may already be living your heaven on earth. There's really, I mean, whatever journey or next step that you have to take. Maybe you were the Queen of Cups, now you're the King of Cups. I mean, honestly, you have the Ace of Cups there, and that's incorporated with the Page of Cups. It's just beautiful. It's beautiful energy. So, I see a lot of happiness coming in for those of you that really do embody that connection, that intuitive. I mean, the water's also with intuition. So again, like I said earlier, just, you know, pay attention to those little voices, you know, connecting to that. So, Gemini Moon, Aries Sun, that is my reading for you. I hope resonated with you. If you like this, please like, share, or subscribe. You can now fast forward to the end of the video if you'd like, unless you're here as a cross watcher to see something on somebody else. But there's a short meditation at the end to rejuvenate your energy. So it's creating those boundaries during this, you know, that Seven of Wands energy that I mentioned earlier. Thank you very much. Love and light. All right, thanks for joining back with me. Gemini Moon, this is for the Taurus Sun. The Hierophant, or Hierophant, no, Hierophant, I mean, at least how I would pronounce it in German. In reverse, Taurus energy. This is Catherine of Aragon. Oh, all of a sudden I just think of Lord of the Rings. Any other Lord of the Rings fans out there? This in reverse, since the Hierophant is very about tradition, I think your way to create heaven on your earth, or kind of, which is really unusual for, wow, I just realized Taurus and Taurus. I mean, this is Taurus energy for the Taurus Sun. Tauruses, you know, I mean, definitely have a propensity for tradition. I mean, even all these columns are made of gold. They like possessions, you know. They like creating material things, rooting themselves, like foundationally, kind of like that, which is what tradition is, you know. I mean, it's cultural, foundations. There's some of you who have to reconnect to that because you've lost your connection to your foundation. You have no foundation anymore. Therefore, you can't create even, you know, heaven on earth because you've lost your connection to earth. I mean, you are an earth element. This would be a double earth. This would be, you know, sun and moon in earth. So you are losing your way, which would go back to, again, to that Nine of Wands and that Nine of Air energy that was in the reading. You know, you have to take control over your thoughts. And again, because you are earth energy, dealing with the fire and the air elements of life may not be, literally, you may irritate you. Especially, I mean, the fact that this is a Gemini moon, which is also air symbol. it's just, and it's about talking and, you know, more succinct. This is more a succinct individual here. If what they want to say is going to be stern, but just frivolous, frivolous. Oh my God, I can't even say it. It's you all know what I'm trying to write. Frivolous. Frivolous conversation is not really your idea of a good time. So half of you need to reconnect with your foundation. What is it that, like that list that you're making, your list is about what was it, you know, that also that 6 of water energy. In this case for you, it would be in reverse because you're not connecting to your past. Like you need to reconnect to what was it that made you grounded. You know, what is it that gives you the strength? Because you have a completely different kind of strength than fire strength. That strength that gets you in your, you know, your routine, because you like routines. Now, the other half of you I'm getting is you need to let go of your clutches onto tradition and foundation. Some of these things, you may have an opportunity to find love, and at first, you know, you're just like, oh, I don't know, maybe there's just something about him I can't handle. It's probably that fire and that air kind of energy of the person that you're with, but it could actually be a long-term foundational situation if you just let go of that stubbornness that can be Taurus. Also, if you are grounded in a place such as a home or a country or a job, it is time for you to let go of the connection. Growth requires sometimes realignment, and that realignment can be a physical move. It could be a economic move, like job-wise. It can be, you know, like literally picking up something that you never would have before. Like, I don't read mystery novels or something like that. Just something that will open your experience. But I really think, like, definitely job, like if you're a promotion or going to a different company, those are growth mechanisms. Taking you to a different place and out of where you've been can really help you grow as an individual. And there does, that 10, that fortune's wheel to the call, you know, it is ending cycles. So there could be a definitely decision that needs to be made. And again, writing that list, the pros and the cons in this case, and going back to Gemini, don't write that list based on your hopes or your impressions or your fantasies. Try and be stable about creating the narrative around, you know, what some positive and negatives are about possibly moving cities, states, countries, jobs, careers, like even like not just like getting a promotion at a different job that does the same thing, but trying a different job, going back to school, like you just, or quitting or leaving school and doing something else. Maybe education isn't for you. Maybe you wanted to learn a skill, you know, I mean, like I said, maybe retirement in Florida wasn't for you. Maybe you want to retire in Arizona. Maybe retirement in the U.S. isn't for you. Maybe you want to retire in Costa Rica. I don't know. Maybe Thailand. But there's something about that half of you need to reroot yourself from foundation, and the other portion of you need to let go of that foundation. Yes. So thank you again, Taurus Moon, Taurus Sun, for joining me for your reading today. If you enjoyed this, please like, share, and subscribe or comment. Follow yourself to the end of the video where there's a short meditation to help you realign your energy so you can have a safer and more fruitful day. Thank you very much. Love and light. All right, thank you for joining, coming back, joining me again for all you Gemini moons with a, oh, that was Gemini Taurus. Gemini moon with a Gemini sun. Your heaven on earth. 3 of Cups. These are the Bronte sisters. Now, interesting. I mean, normally, like, creating a party out of life, I guess, is your idea of heaven on earth, like a party every day. Or in this case, I mean, since they're family, it could literally having family around you, like always having the option, like, I mean, it's just, gosh, right now it's the Christmas, so you want to host the parties. You may be the one that wants to host the parties. You may be the one that wants to organize the Christmas party or have the family over, and you want to have like 2 Christmases, one with your family, one with their family. And then you want to have your Christmas with just you and your significant other, or your just direct line of lineage, like on a vacation or something. Like, your idea of heaven on earth could literally be family and creating a family. Whether you have it, whether you had it, for those of you, whether you're seeking it, for those of you who don't get to see your family this time of year, or don't get to see your family right now due to, before it was COVID, so we were all kind of locked up, but there's a lot of, still, like, there's places that have been hurt by storms, by war, by famine. There's just external circumstances which may prevent you from actually seeing your family or being with your family. And this is saying that maybe finding another way to be with them. Now, obviously, people have been doing Zoom and Skyping. But there could be, even though they're all sisters, find your soul family. I think a soul family, for some of you, finding that soul family, being away from, like, I personally lived away from in a different country for a really long time. So my family was my soul family. I would host Thanksgiving every year and invite them, and it was just the best experience every year. I would toil over that turkey, and I enjoyed every 15 minutes of basting it. Like, the heaven on earth right now for you and what you need, and even the star. Like, the star is there for healing purposes. You may need healing more than ever right now, and being with either your direct family or your soul family may be how you get that done. So in your case, the star really is about healing. It's not about being famous or more famous. The cycle, and then the cycles that are ending, like the 10 and the 20, could literally just be the fact that it's the end of the year for you. It's the end of the year, and this is how you want to end it out, with family. That's your happy place. Maybe there's someone in your family that you haven't talked to for a long time, and you need to make a phone call to, but you're dreading it. Or you get a phone call from someone in your family that is dreading that phone call with you. It's definitely, the Bronte sisters, you can look them up, a nice little short story. Very different, but family was different back then. You kind of had to stick together. Life's a lot bigger nowadays. You can find your family anywhere. And definitely ask for it. I totally forgot to mention that this was 1. So we had 1, 10, and 20. And it's literally almost like the whole cycle in 1 month. And the full moon is the mid. Like, the new moon is when you start. Like, that would be where the 1 is. The 10 is pretty much where the full moon is going to be. So, the wheel's fortune. And then the balsamic moon is going to be the 20. So it's like we're in the middle of the cycle, and you're getting to that point. That is what I have for you, Gemini Moon, Gemini Sun. I thank you for watching. I hope that you enjoyed this and something resonated with you. This is really pretty. This is a really sweet message, I do have to say so. I'm only 3 in. But the secondary sweet message, and it kind of, see, that's why I like reading the cards as well, and then doing the clarifiers by sun side, because certain cards, it can change meaning, because it goes from a larger collective to a specific kind of subcategory of people. So seeing that star now for you is definitely that healing power, and I like that a lot. I like that a lot. Again, yeah, share, subscribe, or comment. Please direct yourself to the end of the video. There will be a short meditation. It'll just kind of reground you and hopefully close up that energy field that you've opened up as you've reciprocated this event of tarot reading. Thank you very much again. Love and light, my beautiful Geminis. All right. Thanks for returning to me. Virgo, this is... No, Cancer. Sorry, Cancer. I almost did it again. Cancer, this is your reading for our Gemini moon, Cancer sun. You're creating heaven on earth. You got the Ace of Pentacles. Your heaven on earth is just, I mean, this almost seems quite simple. Like that nine and 10 of fire, like getting your thoughts in order and putting all your data points and variables in the right place and getting rid of all what you don't need so you can turn your idea into a actual product, a thing. You're like, your next cycle is you've worked, you've had this like opportunity. Now it's time to embrace the opportunity and really go forward with it. Embrace it and progress with it. You definitely, I mean, this was in reverse, and it's like, I'm seeing it not at, like, it's more like an obstacle in your sense. Like, the obstacle is turning this Ace of Pentacles right side up and turning it into the opportunity that you want. You want to create this thing. I want to see what energy we can use to help make that happen. What kind of... Let's see if I want a clarifier for this. So, like, there is a situation where the Ace of Pentacles needs to turn upright, because that is going to be creating your heaven on earth. Now, we already saw the 9, like, we already had these. This is, you know, the how, getting rid of it. But just, if I can just, Spirit, this is for my Gemini moon and a Cancer sun. How do we get that Ace of Pentacles upright for their highest good? Spirit, okay, we might only need this one. The Tower reversed. Very interesting. That doesn't... Rapunzel. Okay, taking it slow, which is also why we have the Ace. Okay, so this is normally a very fast, like just boom, out of the blue, you know, and this is also very fast energy. Now, in the reading, we did have the same card, but in the upright, so this is going to take some time. What I'm having here is that for you, in order to get this upright, you need to stop and think about it. Don't, like, put that presentation together, because again, this energy, this Mercury energy, like, you don't have to finish it by the end of the year. I would recommend not doing that, because again, like I said, if you don't, like, communication is a tricky thing right now, and if you aren't 100% set and prepared, especially with something of this magnitude, whatever material thing it is you want to create, whether it's a home or propose to somebody, whether it's a business, whether it's you're trying to write your dissertation, or whether you're trying to write your thesis, or whether you're trying to submit a book or, you know, something, or whether you're, you know, creating your masterpiece as far as sculpting or something that you just started, or build your own piano or build your own boat. I don't know. Take your time. The conversations you need to have around it and the people you need to speak to with about it, it's best to hold off for a little while. And this tower, again, was also in reverse. Towers usually are fast moving. Like it hits the crown chakra and then boom, you know, it just blows your life up. Rapunzel, everybody's falling down. In this case, you know, it looks the opposite. It looks like you have to grow something first, you know, like the way that this is going up. Like you need to root something and grow it first. So, I mean, you'll get to your happy pace. It's not going to be quick. Your heaven on earth is slow moving. But it's it's going to take some foundational spirit, but it's there. It's in your. It's not going to be there by the end of this year. This is not a New Year's resolution. This might take some time, like a year. This might literally take a year. All right. If you enjoyed that, please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for joining me today. And you can just fast forward to the end. There's a short meditation. It's only about a minute long. It'll just help you to reestablish your energy barrier so you can go out into the world safer. Thank you very much for your time, love, and support. Love and light. All right, thank you for joining back with me. If you did not stick with me for the entirety of the dealing of the cards, we are now on our Gemini moon and our Leo sun. So Gemini moons and Leo suns, you have the Queen of Pentacles, which is Anna Jarvis. Now, your heaven on earth really could be material things. You may want that house. You may want to own that company. You may want that big bank account. Now, you may not want it just because you want money. Some of it may be rooted in your image. Now, since you are a Leo sun, it could definitely be rooted in image of perception, like what you give out to the world, especially because the sun is how people see you. So you want people to see you as the Queen of Pentacles. And sometimes that requires wearing nice things or driving nice cars or having a nice house or always having your nails done or, you know, having impeccable skin because you can afford all the, you know, I guess trips to the beautician. Now, I don't specifically, Anna Jarvis, I do want to look her up because I feel like this one is an important one and I do not remember her story offhand. And there's a lot of women to remember, so I just want to get the gist. Oh, I did read this recently. That's why I was drawn to reread it. Okay. Yes, that's why. And so, side note, we all celebrate Mother's Day because of her. Now, she lived in the South during the Civil War. And there she, because of the fighting, and so many women lost their sons during that fighting, she wanted to find a way to consolidate and to communicate and to, you know, cooperate with or bring the tone beyond the topic of war. So she created an organization where women of both sides would get together and mourn their children. And eventually she lobbied Congress to create a day specifically for mothers. And that is what we now celebrate as Mother's Day. So you may really want to be a parent as well, which is similar to I think our Taurus moon was what I said. You may want to be a mother specifically, or you may see your value as being a partner in a relationship that handles the household. But again, it is the percent, like you just, your version of heaven on earth is definitely rooted in, like, you know, the foundations. Again, Cancer, the moon is about foundation. So a full moon, and my readings are moon readings. So there's always going to be a little bit of the foundational aspect of this and family aspect of this. So I'm seeing for definitely your heaven on earth, like You might actually want to have children. That ending of a cycle, that longing, that 6 of water, what you're looking at is, why can't I get pregnant? Perhaps you've had miscarriages. Perhaps adoptions haven't gone through. You know, there could be something that had been holding that section of that portion of your life back. Maybe you want to be a grandparent, but, you know, your kid just won't get married, or, you know, and so you're longing for some way to create this heaven on earth. And for the retired people who, you know, want to have official grandkids, I recommend volunteering at local schools, teaching underprivileged children how to read and write. That's usually very fulfilling, and it creates kind of a permanent, you know, grandchild if you stay in touch with some of them. That will always be your kid. So, yeah, back to the finishing up the reading. Our Gemini moons, Leo suns. Your heaven on earth is definitely going to be around this material aspect of it. And, you know, this whole, like, getting control, like the 9 of air and the 10 of fire, it doesn't apply to, like, that just doesn't apply to you. The how, those things just, it's not about thoughts or feelings. It's, you know, you're creating this just through the manifestation of the magician. It's your obstacle, or there's no obstacle, I mean, but that how, it's not, you can't control the how, because you can't control it whether you get pregnant or not. You just have to stay, you know, this is, like, I mean, technically, yes, if you're that individual that thinks that they need to, in high school or middle school or beginning of college, and you want to write down, I want to be married by this age, and I want to have kids by this age, or in a job by this age, and I want to be retired by this age. I mean, those are unhealthy limits to put on yourself, because that's all those are. They're limits. It's saying you can only do this by a certain time. Or if you don't do it by a certain time, now what? So I would say, don't write lists, like, in regards to this kind of thing. And your ideas, again, those 9 of air, don't let your ideas and thoughts control how this comes into being. It's not like that. This will come in a cycle, and if it wants to, you know, if you want it, you will find a way to make it happen. That's basically what this is. Especially Leos, if you're a Leo sun, you find a way to make what you want happen. But it's just, you seem to be rooted in, you know, creating that material happiness for yourself. Home, house, objects, images, family, definitely being a parent. All right, my beautiful Gemini moon, Leo suns. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed this reading, and that some of it resonated with you. If you did, please like, share, or subscribe. You can even comment. I'm always willing to hear your thoughts. Now, you can continue to the end of the video where there's a short meditation, and that'll just recharge your energy to create that barrier around you, because when you participate in this with me, the messages I get is because you are participating. You know, time isn't really sequential. It's energy just moves about. So you've opened up your energy. It's time to close it. Thank you so much again. Love and light. I wish you all the best. All right. If you are returning now, this is going to be our Gemini moon with our Virgo suns. We have 2 cards in reverse here. Oh no, I read this wrong. That means I have to, no. This is Virgo, this is Leo. Okay. With our Virgo suns, we have both the 9 of Pentacles and the Tower in reversed. Anne Boleyn. Anne Boleyn. Yeah, did she not like explode? That must be the Church of England or Windsor Palace. And the Nine of Pentacles. I will not butcher her name again. She was the wife of Muhammad. Anne Boleyn is the mistress of one of the many kings of England. And yeah, she brought all kinds of turmoil. Now, they are in reverse. So, heaven on earth for you. Interesting. So, it doesn't have to be about the money. You may already have money. That's not what you want. I mean, because this is a great card, and she was her father owned the trading business that she took over in Mecca, and she was a very wealthy woman, extremely wealthy. She was actually also older than Muhammad, so she, went after that younger guy. And of course, when she got into relation with Muhammad, and Muhammad started teaching the study of Islam, they started giving a lot of their money away, and to the poor and the indignant. That's not the right word. And the less fortunate. Now, Anne Boleyn, destroyed marriages, destroys family structures, put stress on the royal family in England. Now, Tower is usually, obviously, someone or something like, in your world or in your life or in your environment just being destroyed, like some kind of shock, like something that shakes your foundation. Now, it may be, I'm thinking like what you find to be heaven on earth might actually be quite different than what you thought it was or what you believed it was. Like you may have thought that all this, like, because you seem to have made money, like that you seem to have made it already in this context. Like that's not the traditional reading of the Nine of Pentacles in reverse, but I feel in this sense you already made it. Now you're, it's like, okay, now what? For some of you, like it can't fulfill certain other things of value in your life. And you may be waiting for an epiphany to figure out what it is that you want. Definitely, I would stay away from toxic relationships. If in this case, like it's just a warning, like you may have this may mean a possible divorce, or you may be dating a woman that is married or a man that is married, and either or I said like you could be getting a divorce from someone, and all the money that it brought you couldn't bring you happiness in a relationship. For some of you, you could have started this company and it made you lots of money, and now you're realizing that company isn't what fulfills you. Like maybe you set out to help change the world in some capacity, or change thoughts, or maybe you started a tech company, or you wanted to start a tech company that was supposed to help innovate this sector, and really it hasn't, and it's been nothing but a disappointment. So I feel like there's a lot of disappointment around the value of money, or the value of value. It's redefining, I guess, heaven on earth. It would be finding a way to reassess and reevaluate what value is to you. What do you find valuable? Is it time with family? Is it how many houses you have? Or is it, how many people you help? How much kindness can you give out in this essence? I'm feeling like, because eventually as she got older, it was all about, kindness to others, creating kindness to others. Of course, that was when women were equal in the faith to men, and they had as much say in relationships and value, you know, like finding that equal partnership. And that could all be also what you're searching for, as far as like whatever this sector of your life is that's kind of toxic. It's finding the equal balance between making it of more value. Again, it doesn't have to be money wise. That could be various different aspects of a value chain, you know, like, is it providing better health care for your workers? Is it providing more vacation days? Or if it's a relationship, finding more value in a relationship. Like, you know, if you're with someone that continues to cheat on you, why do you do that to yourself? You know, if you're with someone that possibly gaslights you, I mean, this could be a big gaslighting card. But I feel like the lovely thing about the Tower is something always positive comes out of it. It's always positive. And I mean, whether it's reversed or right up, there almost is like almost no way that something doesn't get shaken. Now, maybe in the reverse, unfortunately, something positive might not come out of it for some of you, because that's the only other feeling that I'm getting at this time. Yeah, like, yeah. It's just, yeah. A disruption. That you're this. Oh, this too shall pass. That is what I'm hearing. This too shall pass. This too shall pass. That's eventually what it's going to get through. Okay, Virgo, your heaven on earth doesn't sound as heaven as the rest of them so far. It does sound very earthly, and it's very something that you like, the lists and everything like that. Really, it might be an Excel file. For some of you, it literally might be an Excel file that you have to like cut through. But thank you very much, Virgo, for staying. I hope that if this resonated with you, please like, share, or subscribe. If you would like to fast forward to the end of the video, there is a short meditation. This should just help you return out into the day. So you can, you know, rebalance your energy, give and take. Thank you very much. Love and light. All right. Thank you for returning. If you didn't stay with me the whole time, this is our Gemini moon with our Libra sun. So what is heaven on earth? The Seven of Swords. Lucrezia Borgia. Seven of Swords. How to get to your heaven on earth. Don't put baby in the corner. I don't know. That's kind of what I'm hearing right now. Because I know I don't typically, you know, cross-read different cards, but this is always the human resources card, and I associate that with the placing, you know, like people just no, okay, maybe, you know, like you almost give nobody a chance. You don't even take the time to see the potential in things, but you're going to discount, you know, so many potentials here. So, you know, I guess for you, the Seven of Swords is being that HR representative. Not in that that's what you want to be, but this goes back to what I was saying, like making that list. What is your soul calling you to do? Like right now, what is your just soul? What does your soul want in this essence? Like in this regard, like what is heaven on earth? What does your soul want? Making that list, because you've got lots of conflicted ideas here about what life should be. Our Libras, like you love beautiful things, and you love surrounding yourself with beautiful things as far as the way that you put yourself out there into the world. But you are a Gemini moon, which is very, very in your mind, and it can be quite distracting at times. So this, like, you can't get to, this heaven on earth unless you leave behind the distractions. So you may have some bad habits that you need to let go of. Again, due to this moon, like meditation might be and meditation is definitely what I'm seeing here. I know it's going to be hard to quiet your mind, because this is just so distracting that I just can't stop saying distracting with this card right now. It's really highly intense energy. And so I'm meditation, like, even if you can't finish the continue to participate in the meditation. But if you are feeling compelled to work through your thoughts, do it on paper afterwards, or voice like talk to your watch, if like whatever it is that you do. But you have that conversation and then go back to meditating, because your process requires, like, the messenger, the Mercury, energy, that messenger energy requires you have to like something needs to happen. It needs to be extinguished and exhausted in some way, whether that's verbally, whether that's writing it down, burning it at the end. This burning, that 10 of Wands, that is definitely for you. That 10 of Fire is for you, like in some way. And that's the same thing. So if you record any messages on your phone as voice memos, you need to do it and then delete it. Like, it just needs to get deleted. Like, no cloud drive, no nothing. Even go to your cloud, delete it. Get rid of it. Purge it. That's what I'm hearing for you. Purge it. Absolutely, purge it. It's a very, very intense energy that's coming through. Like, I'm even feeling like these are acupuncture. Some of you might need to go to an acupuncturist. That might be a healthy way to release some of your toxic anxiety and anxious energy, is what I'm feeling right now. Because there was like my warning at the beginning of what a Gemini moon is. Don't be that manipulator. Like, you don't be that person that has to have the last word in, or get into those arguments that don't need to be had. Like, it can be very toxic energy. So I know this isn't a how do you create a heaven on earth. Like, right now, you did it. You can't do like that. You need to find a way to let go of the toxic energy, the thought energy. Like, create that 9 of air. Like, be able to, once you have your thoughts separated from yourself and free, and then you can burn them. They were like this, looking at each other. I mean, that will feel like heaven, because it will be such a weight released that it will feel like you haven't had that much freedom. Yours is, I'm keyword freedom. I feel like freedom is important for you. Releasing your thoughts and releasing yourself from all the toxicity is freedom. And that's what heaven on earth is. Creating heaven on earth is for you right now, is creating a sense of freedom from that. It's a very intense message. So I really suggest meditating, like I said, writing practices, whether you're leaving voice memos or literally writing it down, burning it, purging it, deleting it. It needs to go. So you can have that freedom of mind, freedom of peace, freedom of thought. That's what your heaven on earth is. Creating heaven on earth is there. Because that healing, that star card, that's also what you want. The star card was very much for this one too. But this was a very peaceful, like really soft, like soft energy. This one is very harsh. Very distracting, I've got to say. Okay, my Gemini Moon, Libra Sun, thank you very much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed this message. If you like this, please, or if you enjoyed this, please like, share, or subscribe. You can always comment. I'd love to hear it. I mean, even if it is this distracting, I mean, if you need to let go of some of your emotions in the comment section, please go for it. I'll try and help any way I can. I also definitely, speaking of meditation, at the end of this video is a short meditation. I suggest that you go there and just take a couple, it's really just about a minute long, but take a couple deep breaths and just let the energy form back around you so you can protect you during this time of anxiousness. Yeah. Thank you very much again. Love and light. All right. Thank you very much for coming back, joining me again. This is the Gemini Moon with our Scorpio Sun. What is heaven on earth? The Three of Wands. Oh my gosh, it's not going to focus. Henrietta is her name. DeLille. Now, travel, constant exploration, constant, this is Scorpio, yeah, constant, so I'm getting, with our Gemini Moon, Scorpio Sun, like right now, you need to, in order to create, I'm getting more the word create, you need to create things, that is what heaven on earth is for you, creating something, creation of. Now, in this case, the creation is going to take the form of something that you've been preparing yourself to do, or some skill that you've had either for a really long time but you haven't utilized, or a skill that you just learned. But it is going to be taking this skill and putting it into practice, and this is going to open up a whole new level of your life, a whole new phase of your life. Like it will make you, the creation, the what you're creating will make you happier, thus making the people around you happier. And in this giving essence, so the more people you meet when you're in this energy of creation, the more, like you don't, it's not just a heaven on earth for you. You could be affecting other people where it's creating a better surrounding for them, even like changing their energy frequencies. So you may even be, some of you may be music. It may be music. Like you literally might be changing the energy frequencies by creating music. That's a really interesting specific message for some of you, because she's not a musician. She's absolutely not a magician. I mean, okay, maybe some of you are going to be a magician too. That's a very specific twist of the tongue. Musician is what I wanted to say, but I mean a magician as well. If you want to be, yes, animator, something like that, drawing skill. Some computer programming, maybe video game design, I don't know. If you're older, there's all kinds of hobbies you can get into. Origami, for some reason, came to my mind. Although I know sometimes with the hands, but it is a good practice to keep yourself a little bit more mobile in the hands. Golf is cliche, but so I'm not hearing that. But it's just, there's something that creating things for you, that is going to be it. The creating things and using that and putting it into practice and changing the frequency of others. So Thank you very much, my Gemini Moon, Scorpio Suns. That's a beautiful message. Nice and simple, kind of like this one here. If you enjoyed this, please like, share, or subscribe. Comment if you are creating music. I love to hear some. You can always send me a little MP4 or whatever. Thank you very much. You can end this video. There's a short meditation. It's just about a minute long, just to reclose your energy so you can go back out into the world just feeling a little safer. Love and light. All right, thank you very much for joining me back here again. This is your clarification card for our Gemini Moons and Sagittarius Suns. So for you, with your Heaven on Earth, Zora Neale Hurston is your Seven of Pentacles, and Four of Wands in reverse, Corazon Aquino. She was the first lady of the Philippines. I believe her son or her grandson is now the current president. Why is this focusing? There we go. That is in reverse. 1111 is usually divine number in reverse. Perhaps there's a little stagnation. Seven of Pentacles, though, Zora Neale Hurston. Now, I'm going to check her story real quick because I don't want to confuse it with some. Okay, sorry. You'll see a cut in the video there because I really wanted to look her up because I felt that it was really important, because I really didn't remember her story at all, and I had to read the whole thing because I really didn't remember it. Okay, so interestingly enough, she's one of the first black researchers. I mean, she was obviously the first Barnard College, the first black student at Barnard College, let alone a female. She published numerous books. She was also a well-established researcher in anthropology, and her studies took her throughout the colonies. Let's see, they're not black colonies because they weren't colonized by the black, but they were colonized by white people and filled with black people as slaves. So those colonies, and she wrote several books, and her research focused on these anthropological studies. So for our Sagittarius, is Heaven on Earth. Very interesting, very interesting. It's practicality. Okay, so in this sense, like right now, for you, for ending a cycle, starting a cycle, it is not about being rewarded for what you do or praised for what you do or seen in the eyes of others as successful. I think right now you are looking to find an identity through your own purposes, and you may be focusing a lot on work and money. In some cases, some of you may literally be doing research. Some of you might literally be anthropologists. Some of you might literally be researching anthropology of the black culture or diaspora in the Caribbean. Not sure. But what it is saying here is that a lot of work is being done and you are focusing on work. So right now, your happy place could literally be staying away from people and parties and the traps of luxury, definitely with her, because, I mean, if I'm using a simple story, and focusing on what needs to be done, which is very interesting for a Sagittarius sun, so this definitely is going to be a lot of your Gemini moon, which is also very unusual for Gemini moon, but actually because the energy is so distracting, you might be trying, like, every bone in your body is telling you that you need to focus and keep working. Stay away from those parties, stay away from those distractions. You know, your happy place, it could literally be with books. Creating that heaven on earth, you know that if you put the time in now, you will reap the rewards. Like the ending of this is, it's happening. ending here says it's happening. So that is what you're waiting for. You're putting in all this work because you can feel that something is happening. Now, I don't think this is like your heaven on earth is not this, but this is part of this. This is a continuation of the how. I mean, in this sense, you know, you had your thoughts getting all into order. Let me get this card. Those cards are back out again. My goodness. Your thoughts getting into order and your ideas. So again, these two. These are getting all your thoughts into order. And this could literally be, like, if you are literally researching it, this could be you filing all the things that, like, you know, because especially if you're a sociologist and you have to have your various different variables, or any kind of researcher. I mean, anthropology, it doesn't have to be just specifically anthropology, but you have your data points and you have your variables, and you have to divide and categorize all your data into, you know, usable for a hypothesis for, I mean, whatever question you are looking to answer, whether it's a grounded theories research. I mean, you have to make sure that this is all valid data and it's all going to lead towards, you know, answering your hypothesis. So I really feel like right now, in order to get to it's happening, to get to that place, you're getting your thoughts in line, you're putting your data, you're categorizing your data where it needs to be, you're putting in all the hard work, you're foregoing all the hot parties and all the distractions just so you can reap the rewards and benefits. Now, I know that sounded really research focused, and I know there's more of you out there that are not just doing research. You could be writing, I mean, it doesn't have to be research. I mean, you could be writing a news article, you could be writing a book, you could be, you know, let's say working, like coding something. Maybe you're maybe you're at the retirement age and you're just working to get the house in order because all of a sudden your whole family's coming over. I mean, I just spoke to a family member and she had the worst Thanksgiving of her life because nothing was organized for their dinner. And if there's a heaven on earth, there's also a hell on earth. And hers was a hell on earth, she basically said, because it was so unorganized. So that may be what you're focusing on during this time. Because again, we're coming up to the end of the year and lots of people want to make those New Year's resolutions. So you're looking at what needs to get done so you can start the new year. This may literally just be your new year. Like, this is how you want to wake up on New Year's Day, you know? Sun shining like that, clear water, answering the call. So thank you very much, Gemini Moon, Sagittarius Sun. That if you enjoyed this reading, please like, share, or subscribe, and follow yourself to the end of this video. There is a short meditation, really only about a minute. Since you opened up your energy field to participate in this tarot reading with me, I'm just going to help you close it back up so you're protected for the day to come, or morning to come, evening to come. Love and light. Thank you very much. All right. Thanks for returning. This is our Gemini Moon with our Capricorn Sun. We have here the Queen of Swords in reverse. This has been Benazir Bhutto, the daughter of one of the former prime ministers of Pakistan. She was also the prime minister of Pakistan until she was assassinated about a decade ago. The Queen of Swords, your happy place, you're creating your heaven on earth might literally be standing above the crowd. Like that, if you wanted to actually be the star, if you were the one that wants to be the star or wants to create, you know, all those, the 10 of cups or the 9 of cups, and that you want that Queen of, or that King of Wands, again, not gender specific, but it may be being cold and calculated about, like that list that we said. You're going to have to, like, literally take a match to some of these ideas. And it's being very knowledgeable and insightful about what it is that you want. The possibility of being a leader, absolutely. I mean, she was a leader. She spoke for a nation. And maybe you do want to be a leader. Maybe you want to be a martyr. I hope not. But there seems to be a lot of distractions going around you right now. So I feel like in order for you to get back to where you're happiest, you need to reconnect with that, insightful side of you again. You try, a negative, again, warning of that energy, that Gemini energy, about not being mean and about not gaslighting, about not taking advantage of people with your words, getting into those arguments, having the last word. But this is a very stoic, strong, confident type of woman that isn't about the power that is, exerted through force. It's the power that it's exerted through influence. So again, with that star, if you want to be an influencer, if that is your happy place, this is your message, this Capricorn. Now, Capricorns are absolutely rooted in material things. They do like that money, those dubs. So I guess being wise about, how you attain it and how you spend it and all those things, and what you're creating for yourself. Again. You have the potential, you have absolutely the potential to create those things for yourself, to be that Queen of Swords. Again, I would recommend looking her up. Her story might resonate with you. It may inspire you in some way to change one of the aspects in your life, because that's what I feel like here. Like, your heaven on earth is literally right there. There's just something that needs an insightful tweak. There's just something that you need to have that extra conversation about and take responsibility for. Because everything else is you've been asking for it. So this looks very positive, Capricorns. You've had some good messages. All right, thank you very much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed this reading. Please, you can scroll to the end. There's a short meditation. Other than that, if you enjoyed this, please like, share, or subscribe. Love and light, Capricorn. All right. Thank you for returning to me, our lovely Gemini moons and Aquarius suns. Now, our Gemini moon, Aquarius sun, heaven on earth right now for you might be sleeping. Might be rest. I feel like, literally, I think you guys have been really pulling at the thread a little too thin. You've been pulling that thread too thin. You are my group of people that definitely during this distracted energy, you are literally trying to do all of these things. All these 9 swords, these are all the tasks that you have in front of you. I think many of you, it doesn't matter what age you are. Honestly, I feel like all of you are sharing the same burden, that you're all trying to do too much. And you just think, and look at you. Look at the picture of this woman. She's just standing there in her most royal attire. Like, yeah, I can do it. I can do it. But really, what you want right now is just to sleep. This is just a facade. Like, you want to lay down, take a nap, sleep for a couple days, and then wake up in the new year. You don't want to actually go to that party. You don't want to have to plan that party. You don't want to listen to some person at some party talk about something that you don't care about. You just want to sleep. So I can't tell you that you're not going to end up having to go to those parties. And dude, my voice even got tired. Just like, I lost my voice during this speech. This tells you how tired you are. So you may not want to have these conversations with people, but you will have to. But you need to schedule a vacation. You need to schedule a meditation, a retreat, a day at the massage, something, again, not gender specific. It doesn't matter. If you are the parent of a child who is this Aquarius, you need to let them sleep in. Don't force your child to wake up at a certain time. They are exhausted. Let them sleep. If your parents are this Aquarius, don't ask them to drive you to the mall. Learn how to take a bus. Learn how to take a subway. Get to the mall yourself. Take an Uber. ride your bicycle. I mean, there are so many ways you can be self-dependent. And for all those married to this Aquarius, or in a relationship with this Aquarius, either buy them that trip to the masseur or let them sleep. Figure out how to order one of the party events by themselves, or figure out how to make breakfast, or figure out, just one of the tasks that they do all the time for you. Just figure out how to do it, whether it's the laundry or hanging the laundry, whatever it is. And that will, and ask for it. That's the other thing. This is Mercury season. All you Gemini moons with a sun in Aquarius, ask for it. Ask for that time away. Ask to sleep in. Say, don't bother me. Turn off your alarm. Sleep in. That is your heaven on earth right now. Sleeping in and sleeping. All right. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, please like, share, or subscribe, or comment. I hope you got the rest so I can get my voice back. Please feel free to fast forward to the end of this where there's a short meditation. Only about a minute. It won't take you long, and it'll just help clear out your energy. Thank you very much. Love and light. All right. Thank you very much for rejoining me. This is our last of the list. Again, this is our Pisces sun with our Gemini moon. We have the Keeper of Swords and the Nine of Cups. You, my dears, might be living your heaven on earth right now, because that Nine of Cups that was here, that creation of what you want, this is the how, this is the what, that Nine of Cups. I mean, you already have it. That night, look at that. Look at this. She's already got it. Now, she's a very interesting woman. She was handicapped or disabled, but she still went to school, got a degree, and obviously in health, and she helped heal people. It's what she did. Star card was all about healing. She was an Egyptian activist. She was sold off at a young age. She was auctioned. Oh my goodness. Her parents gave her away at a young age. I mean, she got to stay until she was at least, I think, 16 in the house, even though she was already promised to a second uncle or something like that. But she actually had a decent story. So she actually worked for women's rights in Egypt, because again, this was still a time when Islam respected their women as equals in the society and had as much of a voice and a role in society as the men. She was educated, highly educated as well. She finished her studies. So both these women, finished their studies against all odds. So you might have been able to do that as well. Like whether it was the odds that you didn't have the money, so you had to work the entire way through, or the odds that people didn't think you were smart enough, or the odds of, like, some of you might be older now. So even the thought of a woman not going to secretary school at some point in time is like, or if you were a woman that entered a STEM, a sector of STEM instead of the liberal arts, is where most women ended up. So whatever it is, your heaven on earth, you might literally be living it right now, because this is graduation season. I mean, for a semester. If you graduated this last semester, that is your happy place. For the rest of you, some of you might be teachers. You might be healers. You want to be healers, or you want to be teachers. That is something that you want to be and where you want to go. Some of you want to be doctors, not just a specific type of healer. Some of you want to lead movements. And some of you could. Some of you definitely could. That star card definitely is saying that it's not just about healing, it's about becoming that star. So if your happy place is one of those things, I mean, definitely if creating heaven on earth is that for you, then you need to embrace that energy. If you're Pisces, embrace that water emotional connection energy, and embrace that, you know, the Keeper of Swords is all about like it is in rules and laws and tradition, but it's about balancing out the data point knowledge with knowing the sociological effect of that data on the broader community. So it is embracing the holistic understanding of how societies work, or like, you know, especially if it's math still has to, like, whatever math computation you put together or proof you put together, you still have to find a way to integrate it around society as a whole. Like, even if you figure out clean energy, okay, now how do we build a society around that? How do we restructure an economy around that? Like, there are all these aspects that need to be accounted for down the line. So, I mean, all these things are very, you know, important to remember when you're creating that heaven on earth, you know, because I feel for some of you who are, at least some of you who are actually taking the larger step to be a larger star and to create a movement and stuff. So, and if you are a healer as well, you know, knowing, you know, when to heal. Like, if somebody's asking for it, yes, but if somebody doesn't want to be healed, then you have to respect certain wishes, you know. But your heaven on earth is definitely to be these, embody these energies. So that's beautiful, Pisces. This is some beautiful energy. This is some really lovely energy to end off on. All right. Thank you very much. If you enjoyed this, please like, share, or subscribe. Directly after this is a meditation, so you can just stay right with me and enjoy the rest of the serene sounds. Now take a deep breath in, deep, pure, clear, purifying energy. Pure white light. Now just calm yourself and focus in on the sounds.